Actually, Cam
A lot
G
of
put
fire.
us on the Riyadh Grand Prix. There was a boxing Grand Prix that showcased talent all over the world. That Cam, you were very impressed. I didn't watch it, but Cam, you were very impressed with some of the talent that you saw during this Grand Prix. And how was the event, by the way?
Oh, I really enjoyed. I ended up getting a chance to watch the all of the heavyweights, and I believe it was the a good portion of the middleweights.
You did some serious
Uh,
homework there.
yeah, well, it was my son. He wants to be up at like 4 in the morning, so hey, boxing's on. We're gonna watch some boxing, and so caught the heavyweights. It was like 8 knockouts out of 16 fights, so
Wow.
that's pretty. I feel like, hey, that YouTube Sunday morning with your son chilling. I feel like that's a win in itself. So, um, there was a heavyweight from the United States. Oh man, I know I got it in our chat. I'm about to
Mhm.
pull it up here shortly, but he was the most explosive for today. He also fought in the Team Combat League.
Mhm.
Um, I want to say last name Alexander heavyweight, but very entertaining, very exciting to see a league of this type of caliber with those guys at 6 to 10 fights, and trying to get their name out, and they're hungry, and guys are really finding out like, all right, how good are you? And
Right.
man, I'm looking forward to the next rounds.
I know you talked about Elfram Barrico. Is it was named Yeah, Barrico.
One of our Frenchmen.
Yeah, that you were impressed with him, because when I asked you, did you see any gem in there, and you're like, that guy's a gem. How was his showcase?
Well, first of all, like his physical stature. A lot of times you see guys that are like really built, muscular, they tire out. These were 6 round fights. I thought he did get tired, which is normal for this stage of boxing and career. You don't have a team behind you and a nutritionist and a whole program. But he showed a lot of skill, a lot of determination, and a lot of will. But one interesting thing about him was that he picked up boxing on YouTube. So he
Oh
was
wow.
self-taught to get into boxing on YouTube. And now he's fighting the Grand Prix and won his first round matchup. So that was just impressive in itself.
How is the concept and the whole event? Like, does it work to have quick 6 rounds, multiple fights, like a tournament style? Like, how does that look like? I
Eh,
just,
I thought the pacing of the event was great. Mind you, these were 16 different fights. Once
Mhm.
that fight ended, the next fight was on within 5-10 minutes. So there wasn't a big delay between the fights. So the heavyweight event ended a lot earlier, but the featherweight event, I believe, went on for a very long time. Because I believe there were zero knockouts.
Yeah, I remember that first day the live stream was like 9 hours long.
That's
Yeah.
all day boxing. So shout out to, was it the zone and the commentators, and our color guys, because they're doing all the fights. So
And
uh
shout out to them. Like the product is actually really good because you have like the actual announcers, right?
mhm.
It may not be the 20,000 people there, but you still got the announcers and the commentators and things of that nature that make it a, a quality experience. So
Right, exactly, and it was. I actually got the heavyweight's name. It's Devin or Devon Young. I'm not sure pronunciation, but uh, had a second round knockout over Pavlo Yuskiv. So he's going to the second round. He was out of one of our Carolinas. Fought in the Team Combat League. A very explosive knockout. Check it out.
Yeah. So what was like the incentive for the winner of this? I know this is a WBC thing. Do you get ranking? Do you get, like, what if you win this whole Grand Prix? What's the incentive? And I'm trying to research that right now. Um, do you
Well,
happen to
I
know
was
that?
just thinking without even doing a Google search. I don't know on the as y'all are right now, but the notoriety of winning a boxing tournament is,
Right.
that's a if you just go off of just the intangible side of it, just the bragging rights.
Mhm.
You went the other
Oh,
division. You fought with. people all around the world at this stage in Riyadh
Mhm.
came out on top. So ultimately, we're going to have, is it three divisions, three winners
Mhm.
of the tournament. You would expect it to turn to some type of elevation in their career and more opportunities. And you're doing it in front of Turkey, who's all about giving guys opportunities. So at the minimum, there, I do the announcers did mention uh, these guys are getting paid. I know that there were
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
more than probably what we're getting used to getting paid.
Right.
Even at the phase one LT.
So
Um,
I'm on the
So,
website right now, and it says the grand prize is $200,000 in cash that is awarded to each divisional winner. The title opportunity here, the winner from each division gets a mandatory challenge, becomes a mandatory challenger for the WBC silver title belt. So, and
oh,
then
nice.
so they're mandatory, like they kind of now get on that ladder. So it's
That's a
pretty
fast
good.
track.
That's a good
Fast track
fast
to an
track.
opportunity.
Yeah, that's a good deal. And $200,000 cash. I'm assuming that's tax free. I don't know. It's done overseas.
Hey,
so there's also like experimental rules at play here. I don't know if we touched on this when we read over it, but no draws. So there's a decisive result in every fight.
yes, that happened. It came up.
Mm-hmm.
Open scoring after rounds 2, 4, and 6, providing transparency and excitement.
Mm-hmm.
Also, instant replay, ensuring fair and accurate scoring by officials.
Turkey did it again.
And I put something in a private chat. I saw some more research. They paying you per round. So that's crazy, and it increases every time you go to a different phase. So I mean, it
Man,
may. I mean, is that 200,000 plus bonuses that you get over? So it's incentivized. There's a lot of
those nuances matter. Watching the product live, it made it a very clean experience. The judging was announced on PA in the arena. I love that, and they did a couple of different things. There was a 30-second horn that kind of tripped some fighters out. Horn that goes like a straight air horn, and a couple times guys would stop because it's not a traditional thing. So there's a 30-second horn, and then at the 10-second mark you had the knock. It was just a different thing. There also was a fighter in the division, I believe, that applied on the WBC website, had no team, wanted to be in the Grand Prix, submitted on the website. He ended up losing his bout, but it was one of the heavyweights. But he applied on the website, so you had opportunities from just applying on the website. I just thought that was crazy.
But this is like, so with the open scoring, when you know that you're at a disadvantage, like in football, and you're in the fourth quarter, you can elect to onside kick because you're behind on the scorecard.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the game that just ended in the NBA, you're down and you have to foul. So with the transparency and the scorecards in a boxing match, if you got some dog in you and you're down on the scorecard, you're gonna go be aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen this unofficially at times. We've seen Floyd Mayweather say this to Javante. I think we've even seen it with Terrence. I think Terrence Corner said they telling you that you're down when he was fighting Sean Porter.
Sean Porter,
yeah,
he couldn't believe it. He was like, "What? I'm down."
Okay,
so that competitive drive. I think that's a great tender to the fire of that. And announcing it, letting everybody know, instead of us getting to the end and we have this random 118, the 118, 110 card.
Put a scoreboard up there in the sky. Make it like a scoreboard or something.
Exactly. Not exactly. So it made a great experience.
I know this is always nice to see people doing experimental ways to make the conventional approach, progressive, and And I like to see it in a sport that is so old. Like boxing is maybe the oldest sport. I don't know. I could do some research, but I think fighting or combat sports or of its kind, wrestling or boxing must be one of the oldest sports. And having to change its rigid ways, how long have we had 12 rounds? When are we going to go to multi? We've been doing 12 rounds since the early 90s, I guess, mid 90s. I can't even remember.
Late 80s, early 90s.
Late 80s, yeah. So like it's been rigid, and that's like 30 years ago. So it's always good to see these progressive ways, a progressive way or a progressive approach to bring my excitement to the sport. Because I'll tell you this, like 3-4 years ago, boxing was suffering, and mixed martial arts started having a little bit of a rise amongst the younger audience. And now, I hate to say it, but the Jake Pauls of this world brought the casuals back. And yeah, it's the truth. But yeah, and then now we have Turkey, who's making it interesting and bringing more of an international approach, getting models from different other sports with the Grand Prix idea. And I like how they're doing it, and they're giving chances to people that conventionally don't have to go through the quintessential, promoter and having to cut their teeth through the little circuit that they do here to get to where they need to get to. So
I'm gonna give Keith Thurman and Sean Porter a lot of credit too, because that fight took place, I believe, on CBS, and that was the first time in a long time that a fight of that caliber aired on regular TV. So the PBC played a big role in this too.
Yeah.
So it's good to see them finding a resurgence on a new platform.
A new platform. Salute to WBC. Salute to Riyadh season. Salute to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and all the people that are doing this and helping this untapped talent out there to get to the top. Hopefully, we get a world champion from this experiment. It'll be dope.